surfing is basically riding waves with your body, okay? And so hand planes, they are like a gas pedal. So the more you push down, the faster you go, and they act as, help extending your body and give you lift. Making these hand planes out of, surf trash basically is our way of kind of giving back to something that we love. Being in the ocean it's a way for us to connect to nature. So, the reality is that we're kind of constantly disconnected from nature, and anytime that we can do something like going in the ocean, we feel that connection again, and then we get protective about it. So, I think it's great that the more people that engage in going surfing, body surfing, stand-up paddle, whatever it is, the more people that get connected to the water and get connected to the ocean, they'll feel better at the end of the day, and they'll also want to protect it.
We spend so much time in the ocean that I think we all have a vested interest in trying to keep it clean and and just be responsible stewards of the materials that we use. So I think it's the next step.
You see little bits of plastic rolling around on the beaches. It's very much disheartening to know that that's worldwide and that it's only going to get worse.
In a weird way, we were sort of groomed from little kids to just understand this lifetime, and this is all kind of common sense to us. We just understand that you do things in a way that sort of respectful of your resources. You don't waste things. You try to use everything you can. And just growing up with that lifestyle fit perfectly into, using old materials as a new material. So Enjoy Handplanes was started by Kip and myself, and I was really getting into the sustainable side of surfing, and we started noticing an issue of broken surfboards down at the beach after a big swell. And so we were talking one day, and someone had come to my house and shown me what a handplane was, which I'd never even tried or even knew what it was. And we noticed that, broken boards still had plenty of good foam to make a handplane. So I asked Kip if he could make one, and he went in his garage, and a couple of days later he came out with one.
It kind of starts out where Ed will grab a broken board or a blank. He'll draw out the different handplanes that we want on that foam. He'll cut those out, he'll sand them, shape them, pass them off to me. I kind of fine tune them. Then I'll set up my glassing stands and decide what colors I'm going to go with for the day, and pick out a fabric. And then I'll move on to the next one. I'll usually set up a good 5 or 6 at a time, and then glass those, and then move on to the next. I'd love to see what I can come up with, something that no one's ever done, and just get crazy and inlay different pieces of trash into the glass, and just see how it's going to come out and how it's going to look.
Patagonia picked us up and shot us all over the world, and then we made a kind of a career out of it.
This company in general was really started with environmentalism as the #1 priority, and our mission statement is to build the best product, cause no unnecessary harm, and using business to implement and create solutions to the environmental crisis. And Enjoy specifically, they really capitalize on the whole recycle and reuse on materials. It's great seeing customers who drop off surfboards in store then to be recycled into hand planes that they can later use for many years after their broken surfboards are essentially trashed. Ed Lewis is really good at reusing that material and keeping it in the water. I think us as consumers, supporting those companies who are recycling and reusing materials in their product, especially like Enjoy Handplanes, is huge. A lot of companies are starting to use organic cotton and recycled polyester on their clothing, and that's huge. That reusable material and the organic material is a great step in that sustainability.
It starts out with working with styrofoam. I mean, that's the big thing that surfboards have been made from for the last 50 years. But a big problem with styrofoam, it's not good for the environment at all. Learn more about all these companies that are coming out with things like sustainable type products, things like bamboo, and there's all these things called like green foams and different technologies out there that are really up and coming. So they're starting to figure out how to lower the carbon footprint of what goes into making a surfboard. Traditionally made surfboards can produce more carbon emissions than a flight from Los Angeles to Hawaii. Another way to think about it is driving your car 100 miles, which will emit as much carbon as it takes to make a surfboard. Most wetsuits are made of an environmentally unfriendly material called neoprene that consists of formaldehyde, PVC, lead, and chlorine. For the production of neoprene in the surf industry alone, there's an estimated 250 tons of neoprene scrap waste each year. But now there's options for suits made out of bio-rubber, which is made out of renewable plants with low agricultural impacts.
I see things and I pull things out of the trash, and I get inspired by just other people's garbage. Like I'll drive by or I'll walk by a yard and I'll see a stack of wood, like old fence wood that's just rotting, and I'll be like, oh my god, that's 10 handplanes right there in that one piece of wood. Or I'll see a broken surfboard sticking out of a dumpster, and I've literally gotten off the freeway, taken another exit, driven back a couple of miles and pulled broken boards out of dumpsters, because I just see the potential now of all this stuff that people throw away. Not only that, but fabric as well. Old wetsuits. I've picked up old rash guards and half tops of old wetsuits, and I'm like, oh my goodness, there's like 20 straps for our handles for the planes right there.
You know, for us, we're looking in the future and we're saying, you know, okay, cool. The past was we developed products to be throwaway. Okay, that was the model. Okay, we inherited that. But how do we design things differently for the future so that we can develop everything that we make to be reclaimable, recyclable, biodegradable, and it can go away. So we don't have the answer to be landfill anymore. We have an answer to become other things.